All right, so green-red Domri. We've played a little bit of Teamer Domri on this stream before, and that's a similar shell with the Wildgrowth Walker package. Notably, the Teamer shell has Hydrate Crisis and some counterspells, so this build is leaning on Rekindling Phoenix and Skarrgan Hellkite as its top end, along with some Ravager Wurms. We don't have the ability to draw cards so much as we just have extra evasive pressure. Let's go ahead and dive in. I expect this deck will have similar matchups to the last one we played, which is that it's competitive in most places, but likely really struggles against, specifically Sultai. That being said, the mix of Phoenixes and Dragons can sometimes steal that matchup, so I'd expect this to be a little bit better against Sultai than the Bant deck was. I think Rhythm of the Wild isn't very good in this format. I think the big problem with Rhythm of the Wild is it's a card that's supposed to be a payoff card that's good to get into play, but it's only good when you have another payoff with it. So rather than, like, playing Rhythm and, like, hoping it doesn't get mortified for a turn so you can then play your next threat, I'd rather just have another threat with it. So rather than casting Rhythm, like, let's just have another Planeswalker or another creature that they have to answer. You generally speaking in Standard, especially this Standard format, you just want your threats to be individually powerful as opposed to being synergistic. Alright, looks like we're going to test the Sultai theory right out of the box. No problem, Gindy. It's a good question. It's definitely one that comes up a good bit. Hopefully our Phoenix into Hellkite here will be good. Opponent not afraid to run out the Hydrate Crisis aggressively here because they have the Find Finality in their hand, which is going to set them up to pick this back up after it dies. Yep.
Wild at balance comes.
I got you, Seth. Yeah, that's a Hostage Taker. That is a good draw, assuming I rip a land to play it next turn. Go to Scoop Step. Thanks for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I'm going to do this and haste it. Yeah, the timing on Rhythm of the Wild is also something that tends to be a little bit awkward. So, like, now if they want their Vivien to survive here, they have to double chump block, which is good for me.
Now we're getting started.
An important thing to think about here is that my opponent does have the Finality half of Find Finality as well. Which means if they can position the board to a spot where that's profitable, that could be bad for us down the line also. Hopefully they just play Hostage Taker, and then we untap, draw a land, and then pressure them out of the game with the Ravager Wurm. If they Finality here, I'll say Finality's not particularly good on this board. So this sets them up so they can... This sets them up to cast Finality to clean my board out, which is interesting. Yeah, if we'd have hit the land, we'd have been in a very good spot. So I have a couple of different ways this turn can go. How do we feel about Rekindling Phoenix attack Vivien, Skarrgan Hellkite attack them? I think I like that. And then, like, play Growth Chamber Guardian, pop Growth Chamber Guardian. This gives them the option to keep their Vivien. which means they can Vivian downtick on the Phoenix. That's probably not good. Yeah, I'm just going to guaranteed kill the Vivian. Because they, like, downtick. I guess this means they're just Finality and guaranteed next turn. So, like, do I even play the Growth Chamber Guardian and let it die? Probably not. Yeah, it might just be Brat plus Hellkite Viv might be the play there. I don't know, like, forcing the Hydrate Crisis off the table so I don't, like, have a 6/6 Hydrate Crisis breathing down my neck is, like, also not terrible. Yeah, we knew they had Finality, Marty. That's the land I wanted for Christmas, so beep beep. Have I mentioned how much I love Ravager Wurm? Have I mentioned how much I love Ravager Wurm? Take me hostage, baby. Take me hostage. Fighty Worm, best worm, yep. Alright, this one unfortunately cannot be hasty. Okey doke. Do-do-do. 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 Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. One dragon off my deck. That is not the dragon I wanted for Christmas. Dumping Truck. Thank you for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Are we dead? Feels like we're dead. They get to Ravager Wurm me back next turn. The Llanowar Dragon, yep. So their worm gets to eat my worm. So I'm still alive to a Hellkite draw. Domri's also not unreasonable because he downticks into giving me a chance to do a couple of things. So worm measuring contest, yep. Worm on worm. Help stop worm on worm violence. Ugh, come on. Hasty boy. Hasty Dargan. Hey, here there be dragons. Remember when I said this matchup was hard, except we could rip dragons and kill them? Yeah. Yeah. Top deck hero. Bum 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 ba dum bum. Do 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 do. Dire Fleet Daredevil is great because it takes their removal spells and casts them back at them. Lava Coil is a fine removal spell. I think I just cut my Wildgrowth Walkers in this matchup. Honestly, Scavenger Boy might be better than like this one miscellaneous walker. Maybe I even trim a Branchwalker for it too. I could see that being the case. Did you just mash up Jukebox Hero and Under Pressure? Of course, Camboni Machine. I'm basically a jukebox. A DJ? No, DJ's mix and match, right? We're a DJ. We're like a bad DJ for like classic rock and like Pop 2K style songs. Thanks everyone for hanging out today, by the way. Pretty awesome. We got 1,700 people in here. If you're someone new just dropping in for the first time, welcome. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream Magic full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. We stream a ton of different constructed formats here. If you're someone who does not like limited, this is definitely the channel for you. It's basically all we stream here is constructed. We get a lot of variety in the decks we play as well because I change decks every 60 to 90 minutes or so. Oh, a Hex quote. That's so sad. Poor Hex. One of your finest elves, please. I think Wildgrowth Walker is a kill on sight. Do Neo bars only have one flavor? Yes, they are only the candy flavored. Candy bar style, whatever you want to call it. Alright, hopefully we draw a red source next turn and get to start windmilling Rekindling Phoenixes. That's not a terrible draw.
You think I'm a crazy beast? Where do you see my mates?
Domri providing extra red mana for next turn, which is nice. The question is, do I chump block with my 2/2? I think I do. I think I'm going to play Growth Chamber Guardian since I drew him. My opponent probably can't beat me, Oh, you know what? What if I do this and Branchwalker? Because if I hit a red off the Branchwalker, I could play Phoenix this turn. Nah, I'm just going to do this. Well, the Domri wasn't going to die from the attack. That's the question, right? Like, the Domri survives the hit for 4. Feels bad to bin that, but I think it's correct to do so. The real question is there a Contempt in my future? Because if they have a Contempt, the Domri can't get to ultimate. But, like, Domri, like, is kind of threatening the ultimate ticking up right now. This is the downside play to not getting the red cards down. It's like now the Domri died to the Vraska's Contempt and I don't have my red cards in play. Domri also notably there didn't draw any cards, so like he basically just traded 1-for-1, which is a little unfortunate for us. Generally speaking, we want him to do a little bit more than that, I think, in a matchup like this, but I wonder if this deck's supposed to have a Gruul Guildgate in it or two. There's only 16 red sources in the mana base. There's only 14 red in this mana base. Yeah, that's probably low. I guess the Explorer creatures help fudge the numbers a little bit, but not surprised to be missing the second red here with that's the case. Alright, if we rip the red source here, Skarrgan Hellkite means we kill the Vivian, which would be ideal for us. Well, we tried.
Strike me, and you strike nature.
It's possible I'm just supposed to, like, hold this back to make this into a 4/4 this turn, just for the sake of being resource efficient. It's one less counter off the Vivian, though. It's close. Yeah, I think there should be at least one Gruul Guildgate in here, possibly 2. It's also potentially, like, it's also potential that I don't need 18 green source, so I could see cutting a forest for another mountain. There's 18 green at the moment. Although finding the right balance to cast turn 1 Llanowar Elves is real too. And again, this comes back to the well. You can kind of race here, except you can't because Wildgrowth Walker is going to give it to you. It's like cast the Jadelight Ranger and gain 6. And like, they cast the Jadelight Ranger only gains them 6, but it like puts up enough of a wall that I just like can't do anything anymore. They could have cast down here too. Or Branchwalker. I say Jadelight? I think I said Jadelight. I meant Branchwalker. J-Rock, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded there. If we would have hit our red sources, we would have maybe had a shot there to like pressure them out and keep their Planeswalker off the table, but Sometimes you brick and die, especially when your mana base is built in a way that's a little bit greedy. Not quite enough red here. Seems pretty reasonable. My opponent conceded because they used Erasure on Nullhide. Oh, Nullhide. I really can't make too much fun of your opponent, Frumbles, because I've been there and I've done that. There's video recordings of it, so, you know. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Of course they come with a mouse over effect. It's like pretty decent, too. They've done, like most things surrounding Magic Arena, they've done a really good job with the cosmetics so far. Super happy with how they've implemented. Varchild, thank you very much for the brand new Tier 1 sub. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. Welcome, welcome. So then, now the question comes up, depending on what I draw, like how aggressive do I want to get next turn? The fact that this is only a 3-2 means that I get to hold on to this Lava Coil. I think if this would have ended up as a 4-3, I would have Lava Coiled this so I 4-4 could start getting in. Merfolk Branchwalker is a great draw here as well, because it means that I get to spend my mana but not put this into play, because ideally I want to wait to play this until I can activate it in the same turn to not give my opponent a window to kill it. Thunk. Love tap, baby, love tap, baby, baby, love tap. Do 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 do. What are my favorite sleeves so far? I don't know. How do I link Amazon Prime to Twitch? This URL right here should do it. Get it all linked up. Do Sultai decks ever play Growth Spiral? Generally, they do not. They usually play creature-based accelerants like Llanowar Elves or Incubation Druid. This could be a finality. Fifth land's not a terrible draw, because it means that they finality me this turn. I get to play and activate Growth Chamber Guardian next turn. How do you get the foil Llanowar Elf? I don't remember. The final countdown. Do-do-do-do. 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 Do-do-do-do-do. 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 That was an excellent draw. Excellent draw. Have you heard about my worm? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Uh-oh, audio bug. These people are great. Buy their stuff. These people also great. Buy their stuff. For people who are new to the stream, Mulv, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. I don't mean to shill in the middle of a match, but every 3 hours or so that Arena is open, there's some weird bug in my audio drivers that causes all of the audio on Arena to distort if I don't restart it. So need to give it a quick re-kick there. And then there's another bug in Arena that when you restart mid-match, your beautiful sleeves go away. So now I just look like some kind of filthy peasant. It's the worst. Land. Land. Come on. Come on. Come on. Poppy needs to land. Come on. Dang it. Dang it. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, do you have a cast down? You have a Disdainful Stroke? They could have Disdainful Stroke in against us. Read. Wow. Even gives me a teaser animation. I think I'm supposed to kill this one because it's becoming a 4/4. Like, obviously they're going to draw a Jadelight Ranger now, and I'm going to feel terrible, but... I think it's right to kill the one that's going to be a 4/4. Yeah, Theo, the black-white control deck from Friday was really good. Or Thursday. If you're looking for a kind of off-meta control deck, definitely recommend going back and watching that one. Yikes! Well, at least it wasn't Jadelight Ranger. Gotta thank God for the little things, right? Ooh. This card is really good. I would like this one, and I would like this one. Thank you. See, we don't have to put good spells in our deck. They put good spells in their deck. This deck's kind of sweet. I'm kind of digging what this deck is doing. We had tried Temur Domri with Phoenixes, but in order to fit the Phoenixes in, we trimmed out the Explore package. So, like, having Explore and the Phoenixes seems really great. I wonder if it's possible I even just want the Direfleet Daredevils in the main deck. That card's just so good in so many matchups. Like, it's good. It's decent against Esper and Sultai. It's also very reasonable against, like, red aggro. Sure, I guess. Little land heavy. Opponent's gone to 5. That is not what I wanted for Christmas. Lead on this, I guess, because it gets more aggressive, does more damage quickly. What makes Direfleet good against Esper? It lets you use their Vraska's Contempts on their Tefrees, and it lets you use their Thought Erasures back at them too, which is good. It's also good against Esper in the post-board games because it uses their removal on their Hostage Shaker without you having to have dedicated removal in your deck for it. This is like 10 out of 10 a Frilled Mystic turn, huh? This like pass with 4 mana up? Yeah. So I didn't play Domri there because this reeked of Frilled Mystic. It looks like the Yoink deck, Nexus, generally doesn't. No, now I have nothing else left going on, so I guess I'm casting this. I'm gonna get Frilled Mystic again and cry. Main deck negate. Yep. Why not attack first then or not let them block? What do you mean? In what way does it not let them block, Gengar? So this is one of the downsides of not having a blue splash in a deck like this, is these green-red decks, they don't have a comeback mechanic. So at this point, I've flooded out, and without a card like Hydrate Crisis in my deck, I have no way to unstumble from having flooded. And now my opponent just buries me. Smells Like Frilled Mystic was the original title for Nirvana's future hit. Well, and I'd like to point out that, like, Treasure Map doesn't do the same thing as Hydrate Crisis. So, like, Treasure Map generates card advantage, but it's different than what Hydrate Crisis does in that Treasure Map is a card that generates card advantage, but it doesn't insulate you from flooding, right? Like, Hydrate Crisis is a card where once you've drawn too many lands, it allows you to catch back up and, like, leverage that, catch that ratio back up again. Oh, you're saying I shouldn't attack first? Yeah, I agree with you. This hand's potentially a little bit speculative, but we'll see where we go. Remember that time I said I needed more red lands? Pepper Troy remembers. So there's a few people in chat that are missing the point of what I've said here a couple of times. Again, I'm not talking about this deck not having card advantage. This deck has a variety of things in it that provide card advantage. The thing that you are missing is that I'm saying is that this deck doesn't have a way to insulate from flooding out. There is no X spell in this deck. There is no spell that you draw it and all of a sudden it no longer matters that you drew 12 lands because you can use all 12 of that mana. That's what Hydrate Crisis does. It's why Crisis is so good in mid-range decks. So, Banefire is good and does something similar like that if it's hitting for lethal. Growth Chamber Guardian kinda does it, but there's a lot of board states that you get into where, like, Growth Chamber Guardian just, like, a 4/4 doesn't have text, basically. Zagana, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate the support. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube stuff. Alright, that's a red source. We're gonna fart this. Ooh, red mana. Okay. Yep. So they have this stupid Frilled Mystic. I think I want to play Dragon as... I think I want to play Dragon as a 5/5 here. I guess I should just do this now. The Hellkite. The Hellkite's lethal on its own there. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. I'm gonna go ahead and run it back. That seems like not amazing, but it's fine. It's got a removal spell. It's lacking the second red again, but this is kind of a second red in a way. It's like red adjacent. You're excited for the new Green Sun's Youth deck like these. Yeah, that one gets cards out of the graveyard too, right? Seems like it's potentially very good. Really hoping you draw a Jadelight of her own next turn. Rekindling Phoenix, yep. I think I just need to kill this, so that way I can play Domri onto a mostly stable board next turn, hopefully. I think I'm just shoving this down. Alright. Shame Spiral, this is your 4th time out. We got you. Maybe I should have given that one haste, actually. It probably doesn't matter. Do I ever get bored of timing people out? Nah. And if I do, the mods are here. We have mods as well. Hey, you see how many timeouts you've had? You have to have a mod tell you. This is an elf, right? So this can Frilled Mystic me next turn. Theoretically. Baby Crisis, yep. I'm gonna give her this one haste. Oh no! Oh, I'm so dumb. I was thinking I wanted to do both of these, and I forgot that this was my second red source. Forgot this was my second red source. Alright, I guess I'll just gain 12. And play this Ravager Wurm. This mana base definitely needs another red source. I kinda like what this deck is doing so far. I think I'm in for registering Gruul Guildgate. There are no stats on timeouts past 100, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Thrashing Brontodon. I feel like I could go either way on this one, especially as far as main deck goes. It's probably good to just, like, have a booty there. Yeah, it could be some copies of Dire Fleet. I kind of want Is it crazy to just, like, put a third Wurm in here? I might have an unnatural love for Ravager Wurm. I really don't like Gruul Spellbreaker. I think the original build had Spellbreaker, and I'm pretty sure I cut it. Because I'm just, like, in general, not a fan of it. That seems fine, right? I'm on 24 mana sources, lands, plus explore creatures, plus this, plus this. I think I could support a third Wurm. Let's give this a try. Pretty close to what we've been playing. I kind of like what this deck is doing. The fact that we beat Sultai feels good. Like having Phoenixes and Dragons makes you pretty reasonable against Sultai. At least like you're not just dead to rights. You have some semblance of a chance. If you make Direfleet main, would you add more red sources? I added one more red source already, and like that puts us to 15, which I think is fine. Getting single red isn't really an issue with the 14 we had even. The red consistently was the issue. Sure. we are the mono green deck. I think the fact that Brontodon only costs 3 mana is a big deal, as opposed to 4. I also think I don't want more double red cards, just because of the consistency issues I've been talking about. Alright. Do they take the Domri, which is the most powerful card? Do they take the Branchwalker and hope I stumble and die? Come on, untapped land. Come on, untapped land. Come on, untapped land. Never didn't have it. Never didn't have it. Opponent didn't realize I'm a professional lucker, chat. did not realize they were dealing with the professional luck sack over here. In general, I think taking cards, hoping your opponent gets unlucky, a lot of the times is wrong. You should just take the powerful card out of their hand. I think that's probably good sound logic most of the time. Like, yeah, you have a Nicol Bolas, I guess. Is it really that big of a deal? You have a Thought Erasure in your graveyard, huh? That's kind of exciting. So I have 5, 6 mana altogether here. Do I want to just dragon them? I don't even know if I want to dragon them here. I think I want to Direfleet take their thing. I think I want to Direfleet Thought Erasure them. And then I actually want to Thought Erasure after I Growth Chamber Guardian here, because the Growth Chamber Guardian is going to shuffle my deck, because it's going to go find a friend. So this way, if I surveil a good spell to the top, I get to keep it there. Contempt, Relic Seeker. I don't think I can kill them before the Relic Seeker is relevant. So I think I have to take that. Deal. They are playing 4 colors. Opponent appears to be on like 4-color midrange / control. So they eat a 3/3, I hit them for 9. Yeah, I think that's a fine exchange for me. think, like, Ritual of Soot is they're out here. So I want to be aggressive with my board and, like, trade creatures for damage ASAP. Tremor! Thanks for the 3 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate it. And the fact that they just put themselves to 4 there is good for us because it means, like, dragons are lethal in one shot. Did I miss anything with this deck? Yeah, I like what this deck is doing so far. What do we beat? We beat Sultai, and then we beat something else. This opponent appears to be playing, like, 4-color control, which is interesting. Dire Fleet sounds good. This is not a Wildgrowth Walker matchup. Kraul Harpooner's probably fine. They have Nicol Bolas, which is kind of annoying. I wonder if this is a matchup where... I want Cindervines. So, generally speaking, I like leaving elves in a lot of these decks in the control matchups, but this deck specifically doesn't have access to Hydrate Crisis, which makes Llanowar Elves less appealing post-board. So, like, when you're flooding into Hydrate Crisis, it's, like, not that big of a deal. I think I'm going to split these 2 Scavenger, 2 Cindervines. Let's give this a go. I did not. I've heard people talking about it, though. I generally don't pull up spoilers midstream. Has there ever been a creature Spell Pierce printed? There's not. Although, I guess, reading your question, I'm not sure if you mean a creature that Spell Pierces something or a counter spell that counters creatures unless they pay 2. Lightning Bolt. Counter target creature spell with 3 toughness or less. The classic Woodland Cemetery into Steam Vent start. Love it. So, I think I bin Jadelight here because it gives me the creature for Kraul Harpooner to kill this. And if I don't kill this right away, they could, like, have mana up and kill my Harpooner in response to it fighting later. So I think I need to just take this off the table ASAP. Judgeinator, thank you for the 21 months. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, this current standard's tapered off for the most part, which is good, right? Like, I think we started the day with, like, 16 standard decks in the queue, which, with playing the fandom event on Thursday, will get me through the rest of this week. And then next week on Thursday, we start the new format, so... that is a fine draw there, because we'll be able to play and activate that next turn. Take 1. Trigger. Silly opponent. I don't have any thoughts to erase. Erase this. Come and get it. For new standard Q decks, are people submitting build-arounds or building their own, and the deck submission is a placeholder? No, I'm not accepting specific decks from people just yet. So the only thing I'm accepting for new standard currently are build-around submissions. I will accept specific deck lists once the full set is spoiled. You'll notice here I'm not activating the Growth Chamber Guardian aggressively, because I don't want them to be able to kill it in response. So I'm actually not going to do it inside of the upkeep or... Because I have this 6th land here, I get to go ahead and do this, and I get to activate it now, and if they go to kill it in response, I get to activate it again. So now, I still get a friend out of this. So, it's not very mana efficient. I had to not use my 3 mana last turn, but now, they killed my thing, and I have another Growth Chamber Guardian out of it. That's one of the kind of tricks you can do with Growth Chamber Green to like get maximum value in these matchups where the value matters. I'm kind of digging this deck. This might be the deck for Thursday. This deck like has a mix of all the spells I kind of want to cast. Like I like Rekindling Phoenix and Dragon and Domri and the Wildgrowth Walker package. Sounds great. What's on Thursday? The Fandom Legends tournament that I played last week is going to be a weekly tournament. What rank am I? I think we're Diamond 2. I don't know. I'm not worried about my rank this season. I did not have fun trying to grind for top 1000 last season. I was kind of miserable at the end, so like I often say on stream, if you are not having fun while playing Magic, you should take a step back and reflect on why you're playing. Because Magic's a game you should play for fun. Stomping Ground Shivan Fire likely indicates that they are playing Wilderness Reclamation. Teamer Rec is the most common deck in the format that has that start. Feels like my opponent has another shock here. The problem with playing this out is if they have Fiery Cannonade next turn, I get kind of blown out. Yep, sweet. And, like, I could have played the cat and mouse game there like we played last game, like, waiting to activate it. Because I'm so far away from the 6 lands double activation, I think just using it right away is valuable there. And since they used the Shivan Fire there, we can take that to mean that they don't currently have a Fiery Cannonade in their hand. Because if they did, they would have just untapped and played that, right? Should I go Library to Graveyard to play around Cannonade? Nah, I don't think so. I think I just want the best chance to hit a land so I can play these on time. I think the fact that I didn't have lands in my hand and I have these expensive threats means I just need to dig for lands. Confirm Teamer Reclamation. I'm just going to attack for 7 here. Well, yikes. It could be right to just play Domri here, because my opponent could have a Lava Coil in their hand. If they have a Lava Coil, they're gonna get to 1-for-1 this. And like, if they have Lava Coil, 5th land counterspell, we're kind of up a creek without a paddle here. Second Wilderness Reclamation. Woof. And Sabotage here is, like, really good for them, because it puts 2 cards in their bin, and they have double Reclamation, which means if they bin this card, and they bin their card with their Azcanta next turn, they'd get to flip their thing and, like, take us to town. And once this Azcanta flips, they get triple activations every turn, which just means lights out. They kept a card on top there, which probably says to me that they have an Expansion Explosion, which means we're done. And again, just like, this is why the Wilderness Reclamation decks to me are just like the worst part of this format. Just like, none of our interaction is like meaningful. There's not a whole lot we can do. We just kind of sit here and flail around. They're trying to figure out exactly how much they want to Explosion for. They probably want to leave at least one red up here, so that way they can draw a removal spell and kill the egg. Leaving up 3 is probably smart, because it means they can also hold up a counter spell. Opponent checking out their options here. And, like, here's the thing at this point, right? Like, I'm not dead this turn technically, but at the same time, like, I'm probably dead next turn.
You know, like you do. I'm alright, nada.
I mean, to be fair, based purely on a win rate perspective, Wilderness Reclamation is almost certainly a fine card. Like, by no means is Wilderness Reclamation dominating any of these formats. I always like to focus on talking about Wilderness Reclamation from a quality of gameplay standpoint, which is definitely a subjective metric, but you can definitely get a majority or a popular on things that are subjective like that. Like, I always describe the Wilderness Reclamation decks as being like, it feels bad. When I finish playing against a Wilderness Reclamation deck, regardless of whether or not I won or lost, I feel bad about the outcome of the match. Yeah, I actually think Nexus of Fate is completely fine and reasonable. I definitely would fault Wilderness Reclamation as being the thing that's the issue. Because, like, this is a matchup where, like, my opponent's deck doesn't even play Wilderness Reclamation, and it's still offensive to play against, in my opinion. It's still operating an axis that's incredibly difficult to interact with. I think, in general, if Wizards of the Coast wants combo decks to exist within Standard, they should focus on those combo decks being creature-based combo, because creatures are the things that they give the most tools, the most colors to interact with. Woof. So this lets them kill my egg, kill my Domri, and leave up Sinister Sabotage mana. So if I draw land and they don't have a counterspell, we might have a chance here. When I say creature combo, I mean combo decks that involve creatures. So in this current format, Steamkin could be a pseudo combo. This current format doesn't really have a creature-based combo in it, in my opinion. I'm referring to things like Splinter Twin or Rally the Ancestors, probably the last example of a creature-based combo deck that existed in standard format. Yeah, imagine if they just, like, took Wilderness Reclamation and stapled it onto a creature as opposed to it being on an enchantment. That would be a good way to think about it. What do I want to cut here? Rekindling Phoenix is, like, kind of resilient. I think I'm supposed to trim this. I'm cutting creatures. Like, I'm at 32 creatures. I guess I'm only cutting 3 more creatures here. I think I want both of these because they're hasty. I mean, anytime you play against Wilderness Reclamation, you talk about how unfun it is, right? Just like how it works. I think I'm gonna try this. I think I'm gonna trim these against their Fiery Cannonade deck. Part of me, like, really wants to strap on my tinfoil hat and just be like, they intentionally made the War of the Spark Pro Tour be modern because they know Nexus of Fate and Wilderness Reclamation are going to be rancid for this next part of Standard. So they don't want to showcase the format while that exists in it. So if you wanna come on an adventure with me, where we all wear tinfoil hats. Fantastic. I would love a land. I let on Cindervines on 2 rather than Merfolk Branchwalker because my opponent shocked in Stomping Ground on 1, which implies they have a Shock or a Shivan Fire. So I didn't want to play a 2-mana creature on 2 to give them value or tempo out of this mana. Pod is not a creature-based combo deck, right? I think I might have had a good understanding because I haven't played it long. Birthing Pod was a creature combo deck. The actual combo pieces were creatures. Oh, yeah, I guess that's a great example. Yeah, I totally forgot about the Party Bus. The Party Bus is 10 out of 10 a creature combo deck. Yeah, I agree, Dude Light. Esper Bus is a great example of creature-based combo. What color bus do I like best? Definitely Esper. Definitely Esper. The Hostage Shaker gives you a much higher combo chance, and it just, like, increases your average card quality. What's the Party Bus? I feel like I'm missing something. What is I'm totally blanking on its name. There's a bunch of videos on the YouTube channel. If you haven't watched us play Esper Bus, you should check out the replays for sure. They're a really good time. Lumbering Battlement, that's the bus. There we go. Is bus in the queue right now? I don't know that it is. Yes, it is actually. Of course it is. Yeah, line 15. So I don't have a guaranteed 6 land in my hand here, so I think I'm just supposed to activate this, even though it's likely to die in response. Getting a 1-for-1 out of Fiery Cannonade is, like, not the end of the world here. It also tells me that my opponent likely doesn't have another removal spell in their hand, so I think I'm going to lead on this and just activate it right away. If they had a cheaper way to kill that 1-for-1, I think they would have. Insert 28 witty messages here. What's going on, Indicium? Incendium, thanks for the 28 months. Malorin, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Syncopate unless I pay 3. He shall not adapt. There will be no adaptations here. Fair. What about putting in Harpooner next turn? Nah, I don't think so. I guess Harpooner puts lethal on board on its own. I don't know. If they draw Niv, I'm, like, super happy to have Harpooner. I think I'd rather save it for Niv there. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. I'm gonna go ahead and run it back. Creature I end up on 29. It's good. It's good enough for Domri. Good enough. I think we're going to play one more match with this Domri deck after this, but we'll move on to Jaya as the last deck of the day. I don't want to run too super late, even though I started late, because I am going to do my normal day tomorrow, starting at 8 a.m. Thanks everyone for hanging out today, by the way, and welcome to all the new followers and subs as always. Thanks for keeping me around, folks. Dude Light with the big tip. I assume that's party bus related. Let me look at my dashboard up here. Whoop. Someone said they didn't know about the Esper party bus. Let's change that. Sounds fantastic, Dude Light. We'll close on the party bus today then. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. We did play Thran Dinos earlier, and it was actually really good. We had some fantastic games with it. How am I liking this deck? I've actually liked it a lot, Cafe. It feels like a really sweet mix of things. Acer, thanks for the 9-month resub. I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, party bus. Thanks for the biddies, Night Stars. Well, that's rude. They must not have had that last turn, right? Otherwise, they let the Jadelight Ranger resolve. Yeah, I agree with the assessment that Reclamation makes most other, like, non-oppressive enchantments unplayable. I agree. Cindervines is the best tool these kinds of decks have for these style of matchups. And it might actually drag us across the finish line here. This Hellkite plus this Branchwalker means that the Cindervines is gonna do the Lord's work here, if you would. So like this knocks them to 8. Yeah, they're jump blocking. Ravager Wurm is like also pseudo interaction in this matchup, like it kills memorials and gateways and flip dash cancels and stuff. Reclamation end up in any competitive, modern, or legacy decks? It depends on your definition of competitive. There is a modern deck that plays Reclamation, but I'd argue it's probably not very competitive. Oh, they've only played one Syncopate this game. Do I just jam Ravager Wurm down their throat? I think I jam Ravager Wurm down their throat. Alright, 2/9 creature spells. Use them wisely. This build's felt really good so far. Especially since we added the red source. All the way up to Diamond 1. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick. When I get back, we're gonna play one more match with Green Red Domri, and then we're gonna pivot over to the party bus for the rest of the day. Thanks for hanging out, folks. I appreciate it. Alrighty then. Are pets allowed on board the bus? Yeah, chupacabras especially. Chupacabras ride free on the party bus, okay? Dan sounds fine. Not right. Thank you for resubbing for the second month in a row. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. Party time! Thanks for the biddy, Chan Man. Chan Man noting there that even if you're not a sub, if you attach at least 1 bit to your message, you can still post in chat. Paying 1 cent to chat instead of subbing is OP. Yep, I was saying, depending on how frugal you are, you can technically get some value there. If you think you post less than 500 messages a month in chat, it's technically cheaper to use bits. I guess depending on what rates you get the bits at. Alright. Tokens is probably going to be tough for this deck if I had to venture a guess. If the Skarrgan Hellkite can get down in a turn or two and start hammering them, we might be okay. That's a lot of tokens. Am I doing this right? I think I want to just draw cards with this. If they have a Conclave Tribunal, if they have any amount of reasonable spells in their hand, we're probably just dead to rights here. Hey, Burner X, thanks for the biddies. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. So they have a March of the Multitudes here. March gives them 5 dudes. So if they have an Unbreakable formation, we are deadzo here. Yeah, I don't really know if there's anything we can do about that there. The tokens matchup is something I'm worried about. Playing what's it called could potentially be good. Oh, I'm blanking on its name. The Goblin Chain Whirler base build as opposed to the Explorer package is definitely really good if you're super worried about tokens. I think this is a Domri out matchup just because I'm going to have a hard time protecting him. I think I just like bring in this as a good first strike blocker, and this is as a reasonable booty. Then this also kills things like their Conclave Tribunals, which is nice. Our goal here is to like gum up the ground with like large explore creatures and Wildgrowth Walkers and gain a little bit of life, and then fly over the top with Skarrgan Hellkite and Phoenix slowly to close the game out. No, I'm not super big on art in general, so I don't know that I've really taken note of any from War that stand out to me. Until I have an updated build of Meme Kinji off, it would be 25. Of course, if you wanted to update it yourself, you'll be able to add that to the queue once we have the full spoiler for 10. The bigger donation requirement for things that I have to do work for is just because I do spend time off stream working on those, so require a slightly larger donation so I can make time to dedicate to those. G. Martin, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. Thanks for keeping me around. And Acre, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. Yeah, Daredevil should let us convoke, I believe. Plus, I am misunderstanding the rules of Magic. Pretty sure it does. I could see this hand being a mulligan because it doesn't have a second red source or a flying creature in it. But with our explorer creatures, we can probably find a red source, hopefully. Thank you very much for the 12 months, Thomp. Welcome back. Do we have an Elefante here? What do we got? History's popping off next turn. So I'm going to pop this off here. Go find a friend. I think I just want to try and race them here. I don't know, this might be wrong. They're going to crack us for at least 10 on the backswing next turn. It's unfortunate that this can't trade with these while they're pumped because of the Locksmith counter here. I just do this and pass. Probably going to cash this in as a game 5. So really want to hit an untapped red source this turn. Perfect. Gives me a solid blocker. Puts them dead and 2 in the air. They have a Conclave Tribunal. We're probably just up a creek without a paddle here. But if they don't have a Conclave Tribunal, maybe we've got a shot. So, aside from the tokens matchup at that last one, it felt like we were really competitive in basically everything we played. Everything from the control matchups, the Nexus matchups, to the aggro decks where Wildgrowth Walker is just really good. If you really wanted to hedge tokens with something like this, you could play a bunch of Fiery Cannonades. I think overall, if I was really worried about tokens, rather than making this deck play a bunch of Cannonades, I'd rather just play like a Chain Whirler iteration of green-red and just focus on that. Because I think, in general, this build with the Wildgrowth Walker package is going to struggle against tokens, and I think that's okay. Like, not every deck can beat everything. And, like, if this is a little bit soft to tokens, I think that's fine. Now, I'm really not worried about getting to what's it called, dude? Like, let's load up the Party Bus and pile on, shall we? Like, we were going to play Blue-Red Giant X, which probably isn't any more or less competitive than Party Bus, honestly. Well, we'll probably hit Mythic at some point, then it'll be okay. So, something someone had commented on one of my videos with this deck was that they had played Thought Erasure over the copies of Seeker Squire. And that seems interesting. So, like, I had the Seeker Squires in the deck in order to kind of smooth out the draws and be another thing that you can slide under battlement. However, the effect from Seeker Squire happening multiple times really isn't super meaningful in terms of, like, how strong your deck is. So I kind of feel like swapping this out for this doesn't seem like an unreasonable exchange. I think it's something I'd like to try. That being said, in order to make that happen, I think I need one more blue source in the mana base. This mana base currently has 15, 16, 17 black. So I think I want to turn a black source into a blue source. Put me to 16 black and 15 blue. So I think I'm going to turn an Isolated Chapel into a Glacial Fortress. Doesn't seem unreasonable. The rest of this seems fine. Yeah, the rest of this seems fine. Yeah, I didn't start till almost noon today. Christy and I spent the weekend in Chicago, and it ended up snowing there all day yesterday. So originally we were going to come home yesterday afternoon / in the evening, and then